There's a change happening in the way we live, the way we work, the way we spend our money and make our decisions. We are evolving to be more conscious in our actions in a way that serves the world and makes it a better place. Welcome to the Ethical Evolution. The Ethical Evolution podcast is brought to you by the Ethical Change Agency. I'm Bindi, CEO and founder, and I am honoured to bring you the stories of those who create change through paying it forward and giving back. Ethical business owners and holistic healers who are determined to create collective change in the world. Once we have a change in consciousness, and through collective change, we can become one. My next guest was recommended by Sam Skrivere from Ministry of Waste, who featured previously on the Ethical Evolution. Her mission to help Indonesia to manage their waste collided with the need to have sustainable clean drinking water, which is where my next guest comes in. Jeroen van Overbeek is the founder of Social Impakt, with a K, based in Bali, Indonesia. He went from a high-flying global corporate career to finding a need to make impact and help others in need. He moved to Bali in 2013 and created Social Impakt with a vision to ensure everyone everywhere had access to safe and affordable technologies within their homes. The mission is to bring simple, eco-friendly, life-changing and enhancing technologies like water filters and solar lamps to remote areas and urban centres in Bali and East Indonesia. Social Impakt also aims to create micro-business opportunities with these technologies. A simple water filtration system in a bucket purifies undrinkable water into safe, clean drinking water that lasts for up to 3 years. This initiative and the economical opportunities it creates is saving lives in Indonesia. After tuning into this conversation, I'm sure you will want to contribute to Social Impakt and save lives too. Welcome, Jeroen, to the Ethical Evolution.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the welcoming.
You are so welcome. Now, can you tell us a bit about you and your background and who you are?
Yeah, so my name is Jeroen. I'm originally from the Netherlands. I'm based in Bali, Indonesia. And I'm an ex-corporate executive turned social entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So, I'm supplying clean water on the island here, and not just in Bali, but different islands of Indonesia, with a very simple water filtration system. So improving access to clean water in remote areas. Just decided to change my life a couple of years ago, like 6-7 years ago, and used to live and work in Asia in my corporates before in China, and I was missing Asia and decided to come back to Asia and do something a bit different that's with maybe more meaning. So that's how I started my company called Social Impakt with a K.
Yep.
And because in Indonesian, impact is dampak with a K, so we just make it a bit easier. So that's what I'm basically doing now in beautiful Bali.
Lovely. And I love it when entrepreneurs take things to a level where they actually help the community. And that's exactly what you're doing there in Bali. Now, can you tell us about your mission with your water filtration systems?
Yeah, so basically, unlike in the West or in Australia or in, let's say, more developed countries, you can't really drink water from the tap here. So it's not potable, basically. So people have either to buy water, what most of the people do, especially in urban context in cities, but then in the countryside, this might be too expensive. So there people would boil water, take from a water source, from a well, or from if water comes from the mountain, if they live in the mountain, and then they would boil that water to make it drinkable. So, but this has a cost for sure. In some remote areas, people still boil on not just on gas, but also on wood. So it releases a lot of CO2 and smoke. So my mission is basically with my system to Basically, avoid this, make people save money. Number one, that's the most important factor for them, because they don't need to, let's say, buy the gas, boil the water, or even go and get wood. Sometimes buy wood or go and get wood far in the forest, and it's taking long hours to collect wood. So basically, they can just pull water from any source, except seawater, except water from the sea. But basically, fresh water, any type of fresh water, can be poured in our buckets and just go through a small filtration system, like it's a ceramic filter candle, I call it. And then you pour it in the top bucket, goes through the candle, the small holes, and comes down in the bottom bucket, and it's safe to drink. So this is my main mission. I've been doing that for about 6 years now, and there's a lot of, especially in, let's say, in the remoter parts of Indonesia, in the villages, even in East Bali, where it's quite poor actually. But also other islands like in the east, where I'm doing a lot of work, like Lombok, Flores, Sumba, all these islands which are more eastern Indonesia. There's a lot of education to do about it also. So that's it's not an easy job, but I love it, because for me it's just like a vehicle. This product is just a vehicle. It's just like an excuse or a way to enter and talk about, let's say, hygiene. We'll talk a lot about it now, for sure, with COVID, with washing your hands and things like that. But in general, also, about why it's a better idea. It's just not the economic factor, but also the environmental factor. And talk about these things, reducing plastic, because we reduce plastic bottle use. With our filter, people can just drink from a glass or from a tumbler, and they just don't need to buy plastic bottles. So that's another aspect where we come in and try, let's say, to bring awareness about the let's say, the advantages and the good things about using a simple product like that.
Yeah, and, when I was talking to Sam Skrivere, who's a friend of yours, she was on the podcast,
Yes.
She made it really clear that, people in Indonesia, regardless of where they're located, they don't have that awareness of the fact that all this plastic and all the burning and pollution is actually, polluting the environment. So they don't have that awareness. All it is for them is survival. And I think what you're enabling there is actually minimising some of that pollution, and also giving them healthy, clean drinking water. So how are they finding it when you go into the communities and you explain to them, here's this plastic bucket, this is going to give you clean drinking water? How do they react?
Well, I mean, it's not something they have seen. So it's exactly the reaction. That's a very good question. I mean, it's just I love to, for me, it's like speak a couple of languages, and I always come in. I mean, so I speak a local language, and I always come in with humor, because I say, it's coming from another planet. It's coming from the moon. It's nothing. Yeah. So that's how I start, just to make them. Just to break the ice, and basically also to say, look, it's something you've never seen, but let me explain to you how it works. And then I say, look, it's not to store some crackers, because Indonesia loves to store crackers in these big buckets, what we call the krupuk here. No, it's not a cracker storage place. It's the water filter, just water, it's not an alcohol filter, also things like that. But we start with these kind of conversations, and because yes, we've never really seen it, and the point is there's ways also to introduce it. So number one, I'm a foreigner, and so I will never really they will for sure trust me in a certain way, but I mean, it's the best thing is to have the buy-in from the local community and the local leaders. I'm talking about influencers in the village. I'm not talking about any social media, Instagram people, whatever. Let's say the real world. The real world in the village. They are leaders. They are religious leaders. They are head of villages. They are people who have influence in a certain part of the village. So this is the people to convince first. So I've just tried that. I've done a 1.5 year pilot, what I call my pilot, to make sure, okay, I had a great idea, but will this work? This is maybe just my dream. Even if the product costs around, let's say, $20 per unit, it can represent about a third of the monthly salary for a farmer. So it's still an investment. So you need to make sure that they understand the value of it, and that they can see the benefits. And these people are not necessarily educated in a way, like they have not been to school long. And you can't talk in, oh, you're going to save like $50 a year. They don't understand the concept. You have to tell them what they're going to save in the next 2 or 3 days or 1 week to make it like, let's say, at the time scale they're used to, and how they calculate things. So all these things I've learned, and I've met a lot of village leaders. I've met a lot of schools. I've been to a lot of schools, actually. And I even create like reseller networks in the village, mainly women.
Yep.
Up to in my pilot phase, I've created a network up to 30 women in East Bali reselling. I felt I was very proud of that. It's not an easy task, but we with patience and with my colleague, I had one colleague with me. We're doing basically these meetings of the women every month in the village, and we were introducing the product, and then creating some interest, awareness, and then, like, for sure, they can't necessarily pay for the product on the spot. So starting with a consignment system, where basically I would have a lady in the village in charge who would be ready to promote the product, and also, earn for sure something on it. So it's just creating an additional income. And then she would basically promote it to her colleagues, and then people can buy whenever they feel like. And then when she gets the money, she would pay me. So it's like a kind of a microfinance system I've been setting up myself with my own investment, let's say, in this. And this was working quite well. I mean, it's a matter of time, for sure. There are some people who are more active than others, but once they understand the benefits, and also that they can earn a bit of money out of it, for sure, it works. So it's all about the explanation and trying to first go to this, as I said, to these people who have an influence in the village, and they use it first. It's like a two-step approach. When they use it, they like a product, and then, hey, why don't you promote a new community? And then it's a virtuous circle, because they introduce a very simple but good technology, and then their leadership gets reinforced. So it's a good thing. So this is like what I learned in my let's say my pilot phase of the first 1.5 years. I was doing this, and I got a lot of things out of that. And this can be replicated in many places. You just need to find the people, and also, let's say, there are some people who can take care of that network, or can come back and basically check it out, and how the filter works, and maybe get some additional sales and things like that.
What an excellent model. How many people do you reckon you've reached in Indonesia now?
Oh, I'm like with my own little sales, let's say, my own reach out, around 300,000 people.
Wow.
Are drinking from, let's say, the filter. I came also, my vision and what I want to do is basically reach every family. I know it's in the next 5 to 10 years, so it's a very ambitious one, but I want like that. People tell me, well, why not everybody has that?
Yeah.
Well, yes. Well, welcome. They say, like, in Indonesia, come here. Thank you. Yeah, you can come and please help me.
Yeah.
No problem. Easier said than done, for sure, because it's just that it's not in the mindset and of the people, and they have not seen this. So this is my whole job, is to bring this product to what we call the last mile, to these people who would never normally see that product. So that's exactly the whole point. I mean, it's like getting more and more people. So I'm quite happy also, because when I also sell in the cities, I mean, the south, in the big centers in Bali, like in Denpasar, in Canggu, Seminyak, Ubud, Sanur, where I live. Like, the good thing is I also have resellers and shops who resell the product now more and more. I have more than 15 shops. And what I can see is, like, there's a clear shift since I started. I mean, it's not just the expat community who generally know a bit more about filtration systems because they've seen in their own country. But like now I have like 60-70% of my, let's say, customers in urban context are locals still now. So it's really very, very good because that's exactly the point. That's why I'm here, and love to sell to expats. I mean, no big deal about that. They are customers like any others. But my goal is mainly to reach the local people.
And with your actual, so basically they're like a bucket and they have the filter in them. What's the life of one of those? How long would one of those last?
Yeah, so the most important part is the ceramic filter. So the stone, the actual stone where the water goes through, and inside there is some carbon.
Yep.
Also, which is the filtration system, a bit like a Brita system. So these last exceptionally long. They last 3 years. So it's like 3 years lifetime.
Oh wow!
And basically, as I said, the whole set with a bucket is around $20. But then if you change let's say the little filter itself, the stone, it's only $8-9 for that stone after 3 years. So it's a lot of value for money. It's basically it's like 30 times cheaper than buying branded water.
Yep.
And even if you buy, because sometimes people buy non-branded water, like more cheaper water kind of stuff, but it's still 10 times cheaper. So again, it's a no-brainer, but you need to explain and educate because people don't know about it. It's just as simple as that. They've heard a bit, but they're not too sure. And then there's the whole you need to convince them because you work on health and people don't necessarily believe you and believe that the thing is, it's too good to be true kind of thing. So then we have lab tests and we have different ways to show them that it is safe and no problem and, but still there's that convincing work. So again, it depends on the people. Some people get it very fast and believe in it, buy it, no brainer. Some people will take some time to think and you have questions and here and there. And that's okay. I mean, my approach is more about happy to to convince you about it, but I'm never going to force you. I mean, if I feel people are really adverse to this, it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to convince everyone. That's it. It's just like everybody has his own thinking about it. And when I see it's too complicated, a person is too adverse, I'll give up. But I just say, yeah, that's it. That's fine. This is your choice.
Yeah.
I have told you this you can use. So the good thing is not that many people. There's still a few, but we're getting more and more acceptance, and I'm happy because, especially here where I live, a lot of the product is very visible now with all the work I've done. So it's just gonna grow. It's the future.
Excellent. And what would you say in setting up social impact? What would you say has been your biggest challenge and how have you overcome it?
I think I talked a bit about it. It's more about the, when there's the company set up and things like that, like in any country, sometimes it takes a bit longer. Now it's much, much faster than it used to be when I arrived. But these are just technical and admin things. That's one thing. But then the other point is more, again, bringing a very new technology is what I just said about convincing the people and really, I love it because I always say I start from very down the ground, from low, because it's on nobody's radar and why would I change my habits? It's really about a behavioral change and things like that. So this is where the main challenge is, because it's not an easy product, but it's so rewarding because when we see what we can achieve, especially also in disaster relief situations. So, I didn't come for that, but unfortunately, Indonesia is prone to a lot of disasters, volcanoes, earthquakes. Now we have an economic disaster, especially in Bali, with no tourists coming in, with the COVID and the pandemic. But I've been sucked into these things and been, I can't say against my will, but it's just my product was so useful that I couldn't just sit here and do nothing and not be involved. So I started with the volcano in Bali 2017. We had Mount Agung was blowing a bit, and there was no really dead people, but people had to move to down the slopes of the mountains and go to other villages and live in kind of camps or in the main place of the other village. And so there's a lot of people sleeping in the same place, not many toilets, a communal kitchen, things like that. So our filters were quite useful at that time.
Yeah.
And I remember I set up more than 1,500 units in different camps. Was end of 17, early 18. And then in 2018, a horrible earthquake struck on a neighboring island. We felt it a lot too, in Lombok. And this was the start of a crazy, crazy story where I set up a whole team of people, the storage for my filters, and working with a lot of organizations and aid organizations and NGOs, training them on my product to distribute them and raise a lot of money, actually. Put more than 6,000 units on Lombok. And then we had this tsunami in Palu, which is Sulawesi, which is the month later. We put 1,000 units there. So it was just, the end of 18 was just crazy. Raised a lot of money, actually, just for Palu and Lombok was $160,000 US. So you become a disaster relief specialist. The thing is, with our product, we still need to explain how it works and do a little training. So I was very, very hard on that. It takes time. It takes a bit of people need to understand how it works, just basically how to assemble the product, how to clean it, how the maintenance. So this is like what I'm doing a lot also now with COVID, because we give these filters away to these very poor communities. But the same thing, we've never seen it. So we need to do that explanation. That's the most time-consuming thing. But it's a must, and that's what I'm doing. I'm very strict on these things. I remember in Lombok, people would have to tell me where the filters are, where they've distributed them, if they want to get some new ones. Even if they would pay them, I said, no, you just fill in my Google sheet. I need to know where they are, contact number, so I can make sure that there's some follow-up and people understand how to use them. So can't do it all by myself. It's incredible. I've worked with many, many, many people there. And so totally now also with the COVID, I've set up a fundraiser and I raised 30,000 US already. Actually, I'm a bit above that, maybe closer to 35,000 in over a couple of months, which is good. It's about 1,500, 1,700 to 1,600 units, $20 for a unit. So then it's to execute it is the hardest and the longest. Let's say work, basically going on the field and find the people really in need. So we touch a lot of people here. I mean, there's so much poverty right now. I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing. I mean, I live in Design. I've seen a lot of stuff, but now it's getting harder and harder, and especially these days after 3-4 months of no tourists, of no income. So we're doing what we can to alleviate. I mean, for me, it's just basically people don't have a cost on water when they get the filter, so they're very happy. They don't need to buy water. They also get food from other organizations. We work together. So the question is also to make them more sustainable in the long term. So not just giving them food, but also like some seeds or things that they can grow vegetables, especially people who don't have access to, let's say, to fields or to farmland or whatever in the cities, because this is what is the main thing right now, the main complicated thing for these people. So it's a supply chain problem, how they can get these vegetables, so they have to grow them themselves. And my product is great because, I mean, as I said, you can use 3 years or more, so before you need to change the filter. So it's a long-term sustainable product. So we're really trying to empower people to basically go through this crisis, because nobody knows how long this will last.
And that's probably something, us in the Western world don't think about, like I sit here every day and I drink filtered water and water is what we need for survival. And these people are suffering such poverty that just getting bottled water is almost impossible. So with the work that you're doing, you're saving lives.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I do, yeah. I mean, I like to say I'm not a doctor, but I save lives. And actually, I saw it with my real eyes, because you sometimes you see these things and you know it. I mean, the reason I started is very simple. I mean, in water is because I read horrible statistics in the world. So I was, okay, what can I do? I mean, I'm an ex-corporate guy. I've done a bit of experience. I've run big businesses, organizations in the food and pharma industry at the time, in ingredients more. I said, okay, what can I do? Okay, I know 2 things. I was back in Europe at the time. I was missing Asia, and I said, okay, there's so many issues in the world. Started to read a few things on UNICEF, on the world, and water was just incredible. So basically, simply every 2 minutes, a child dies from waterborne diseases, from diarrhea or something similar in the world. In Indonesia, 27,000 kids. And we're about 35 million people still in this country out of 260 million. So it's about 113%, who don't have access to clean drinking water. So there's all these things, and then there's also the people who don't have access to, basically, who don't have proper sanitation or toilets. These numbers are even a bit higher. So I'm just like fighting against this, and I saw my own eyes in Lombok. I mean, I went to a village one day. I'm actually writing a story on this right now for another organization. We talk about this and just about storytelling, but it's a real thing. Like, I came to a village, I think it was a month and a half after the earthquake, on top of the hills, where it's like a lot of things were destroyed. Nothing was standing much anymore in the northwest of Lombok. A lot of rumble, stone and rumbles and metal, and all these houses fell down. And then this village, I mean, we're so happy to see it because we're out of the main road, and it was quite difficult access. And then two babies had died. Oh, man, I couldn't sleep that night. I mean, I said I could have saved them, but I mean, that's life. But there were 3 other babies who is also quite sick, and one in a critical condition. We saved them. So at least like then, say, okay, now that night I said, okay, I've done my job. I know why I'm doing this, because then you really feel and see it. And in Mataram, which is the capital city of Lombok, was quite struck also by earthquakes. There were statistics from NGOs, like 40% of people got diarrhea after the earthquake in the first month. So we would just bring that thing. And I remember this one village guys came to us and said, hey, how come these guys, our neighboring villages, all safe, and we're still suffering from diarrhea, where they have the filters? So we want that too. So it's like an obvious thing, but in these like situations where it was very hard to get clean water, and with our filters you can just pour anything there, even dirty river water or water from your gutter. You wouldn't do it, but you could. I mean, that what people doing to make sure that they wouldn't get sick. So I mean, yes, it's important work, and it's just a matter of being aware of it, but then it's also just educating people about it. That's the main thing. That's I'm super happy because I have a fantastic product. For me, it's just, as I said, I think earlier, it's just a vehicle. And I work with a lot of different organizations in plastic reduction, like with Sam that we mentioned. That's how we know each other. People who are doing compost, who are doing different good actions in terms of for the environment, because the whole point is basically bringing awareness on all these issues. And I'm very, very, very hopeful for Indonesia, because I mean, I've been here 7 years now, and it's incredible country. I mean, it's one of the youngest country in the world. I didn't even know, I knew it was high, but then last year it was confirmed to me that 62% of the population here is below 30 years old. So it's huge. It has a huge potential. Wow. And also with social media, a lot of things have changed. A lot of young people are much more concerned by the environment and the issues, stand up. You still have to be careful, because there's some things you can't say, and you have to be, I mean, also on social media there is, but at least there is a rising awareness about all these issues, and Indonesia will stand in front, I mean, in the coming years. So I'm very, very hopeful. There's a lot of things have changed in the right direction.
And they're so lucky to have you and the difference that you're making there at the moment. So that's amazing. Now, I have to ask you, can you define for me what ethical means to you?
Oh, yeah. So for me, it's like, when I think about this word, like about what a bit about moral values or things like that, but that's just like a definition. For me, it's more about living by your values, and just being yourself and being in alignment with what you represent, what you think, what you fight for, basically. So that's, for me, that's ethics. I mean, that's what I think is just to be yourself, and also just have the courage to say no, and to not trying to please, being who you are. And I'm working on these things right now. So, okay, define what you are free, what are your free values, what you're standing for, because I'm training for kind of a TEDx talk kind of stuff. Still training, but so it's a good thing. And one of the things we discuss is also about what do you want to leave the people with, and what do you stand for? So that is for me what is the ethical. Yeah, because when you are like, and like, I mean, that's when you contact me as just write the title. That is okay, cool. I mean, it seems to be a cool thing, but it's about how you live by your values, and for me, it's more being passionate, and like also caring, giving back, because I've learned that a lot. Not that I was not before, but I mean, in this world, we see so much shit. I mean, especially now, so much poverty, that I'm so lucky, and I know what I can do, and that's, for me, it's just normal to try to, with what I've learned, to try to give back in that way. And it's through the filter, it's through a few other things, but it's to have that courage, stand there and do your work. So that's what is for me ethical.
Couldn't agree more. Now, what are your future plans in growing social impact, and what's ahead in the future for you?
Yeah, so my plans are big, and I said it's just a matter of time. I mean, I have written that already, like since 2-3 years in my strategy. For me now, it's simply to develop the eastern part of Indonesia, which is in Poor, like a region we call NTT, which is Nusa Tenggara Timur, which are the islands of Flores, beautiful islands actually, Sumba, Timor, and you also have Sulawesi. So this area I've already started. It's just that with the disasters we've got, like Lombok or things like that, I mean, I've been busy with these. Now with COVID, it's the same thing. It's a bit complicated with a few travel restrictions. We can kind of travel inside Indonesia, but it's complicated. So, but this will happen. It's just a matter of time. I'm very focused and dedicated on that. I have my plans. I know what I want to do. I have already a lot of contacts set up. And some of these projects are a lot linked with schools, also with education, reducing of production of plastic, especially in big schools in Flores. I've already started to, now schools are closed, the project is on hold, but there are, for instance, 2 schools in Labuan Bajo, which is a huge, it's entry point of Flores, where a lot of people come to see the Komodo dragons and to go and dive and stuff like that. But there's a lot of kids there who love to learn, and there's 2 huge schools with 1,500 kids each. 1,500 is more than 3,000 kids who are learning about tourism, and it's more of a vocational school. And you cannot imagine the amount of plastic around that school, what they consume. So, and with the little shops inside. So what we're trying to do is bring these filters there, educate about the plastic, why it's better to bring like your own bottles. So we also have a program trying to get it sponsored by some corporates right now about like getting the tumbler. So they can just come and fill the filter at the little shop. And the lady will also still make some earning. Actually, should earn more than selling the small packaged plastic little cup, of 250 ml, which is horrible because you have 4 types of plastic. You have the straw, you have the thing around the straw, and oh my God. So it's all about bringing that awareness. And it's already... it's almost there. We're finalizing negotiations with schools about this. So this is kind of things I'm doing. And then, my bigger vision is to have in 5 to 10 years, everyone having a filter there in the eastern parts and also all over Indonesia. And then the next continent is Africa. We already actually, with the product, we're quite active. We've started a few things there and on the eastern part of Africa. So that's the next place to go and be, because that's also in terms of unfortunately what we call infant mortality, kids below 5 years old who die from waterborne diseases. Africa is number 1, Southeast Asia is number 2. So yes, we still have a lot of work there too, and but that's our plans, and I'm very happy with what I do. I'm fortunate enough to live in a beautiful place, and just trying to from here bring these things to these different regions.
I can't wait to see what you do in Africa. I really can't. We'll have to catch up again and find out about that, because that is super exciting.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I was there last year actually, and I was there for Congress. Love it because it's called Social Enterprise World Forum. So I felt a bit less lonely in the sense when you're an entrepreneur, you're always a bit lonely. You have ups and downs like everyone, and so many great things happening in the world, so many great people, and you connect and you're trying to find synergies. People from all over the world, from Canada, from Australia, from Africa. And it was the first time that they were talking about social entrepreneurship on the African continent in such a way. And it was in Ethiopia, in Addis Ababa. The Prime Minister just got the Nobel Prize, the Peace Nobel Prize, just a couple of weeks before, so the country was euphoric about it. It was really good timing. It was was in October last year, just before COVID hit, and I was lucky to be there. We have a few projects there in that country. We actually also plan to basically produce there, not just in Indonesia, and a few other countries on the East Coast, like Kenya, Uganda. We have some plans and already a few sales and trying to develop there right now. So we'll get there. Again, we have to be patient because of COVID is a worldwide issue, and it has a bit slowed down the things in some places, but it's just a matter of time. I mean, I'm super motivated and determined to do it, so it's going to happen.
Awesome. Can't wait. Now, if people want to find out more about what you do and actually support you, how can they do that?
Just follow me on the social media. So it's Social Impakt with a K, SOCIALIMPAKT. So that's on Instagram, Facebook, like this. And then my website is www.social-impact.com.
Yep.
I also have a fundraiser going on right now. If you want to give to filters for these people in Bali and also in Lombok. I'm doing a bit in Lombok too right now. So it's donorbox.org, clean water for Bali. You can find it on my Instagram. This is in my on my link there on my bio. So this is basically $20 American or 30 Australian roughly, and you give a water filter and clean water to a family for 3 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. And really, what most people spend on coffee in a week, I think, here in Australia, they could actually give a family a filter for a few years. And I think, wow, that's incredible value for money.
It is. That's also why I started this. And I'm very happy and fortunate. I just need to be, keep not the motivation, but like also because I work a lot, to keep good care of your own self, basically being able to give, and because we meet a lot of people, we take some risks also for sure. But it's all about these things. It's keeping the right pace and also finding the right people. And I'm always a strong believer in collaboration, and that's also why I want to work with people like Sam and others on the environmental side. But right now with that COVID situation, I work with 20 different organizations on this island, and I just decided to do that. It was from the beginning. I saw that. I said together we're stronger, and there's no need to reinvent the wheel. So with all these food organizations, I'm asking them, hey, look, when you go on the field, tell me where are the water issues, where can I help most? And then when they have that in mind, they ask, and then we know. So we know just like the power of the people. And the great thing is when we do a water and food distribution together, and people love it. And then I also train their teams, so I don't need always to be there to do the training, because for my food is people know how to eat, but like the filter, you need still to explain how to install it a bit, and to take care of it, the maintenance and cleaning once a week, things like that. So there's a 10-15 minute training to go through. So it's also to delegate that, and it's just trying like getting with as many with the people and the resources to be as efficient as possible, because it's a fantastic technology. And I'm still busy because I've been quite successful with my current fundraiser, and I've put more than about close to 1,100 units already on the field. I have another 500 to put, maybe more depending on if I get more money in, and for sure it will be more. But in the next 2 or 3 more weeks, we'll be probably done. So that's where people can help. It's very simple. Just find me on the social media, and we'll connect. And any information you want, I can give you.
Awesome. We'll share some links through Ethical Change Agency for you as well. And speaking of collaboration, we're actually going to also connect you with some other people working in Indonesia who could probably help you along your way as well, who have been guests on the show. So
that would be awesome. Yeah,
I'll chat to you off air, and I'll explain to you how that'll work. Now, I've got my last big question for you. Are you ready?
Oh, I can't wait. I'm like...
What's the change you'd like to see in the world, and how can we bring it to life?
Yeah, that's a big one. You were right. Okay, so what I love to see is basically, especially in these troubled times where a lot of people have issues in terms of, okay, what's the future going to bring? I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty. It's basically, I mean, choosing what you want in life, and I can't say choose your camp, but like kind of, trying to get out of the fear,
Yeah.
So I know it's easily said, but there is mindsets to have, I think, and just we're gonna go through this anyway. So for me, the change I want to see is that this COVID brings really like this pandemic that really brings a change in consciousness and in people, that they just basically understand that we need to act in a different way, and that we need to totally change our kind of way of living, of consuming, of using plastic, of just the things which are not sustainable anymore. And that at least if COVID can bring something good, or this pandemic is that, I think a lot of people have realized that it will never be the same as before. And I also say to younger generations and people, just try, and also to whatever the educational system is and stuff, it's just like, create your own job. I mean, it's going to be a different world. Don't wait to get a job, or, I mean, there's so many things to do, so many opportunities. There's the planet needs a lot of healing, needs a lot of things to happen. And there's so many, like, let's say, change makers that I see in young people. I'm very proud of that also here in this country. So I just would encourage people to just think a bit differently out of the box, and how can you contribute to the world, and also in the same time making a business out of it and monetize it, because for sure we all need to live, yeah. So it means to find something sustainable to do, and that will have an impact. So what I'm trying to do the last couple of years. So that's what I really, really want to see. And I really think that with the younger generations, and like what I see around me here in this environment, that will happen. But it needs consistency, and people need to be driven by that and really having that vision.
Wow. I couldn't agree with you more. I remember when the pandemic first started, I don't know if you remember, but when Europe shut down and they were saying that the canals in Venice were crystal clear and there were dolphins and all this kind of stuff, and the environment was actually starting to recover because people were being locked away. And it really made me see that what you do today impacts my tomorrow. It doesn't matter that you're in Bali and I'm in Brisbane. We're all on the same planet. So I think now more than ever, we can really visually see how one person's actions impact so many.
Correct. Also because there's more scrutiny on it, and because the planet is kind of at a halt. And then when there is movement of what people do, you see more. And I think that's the beauty of it. And also what technology brings us makes us closer. We can have this conversation. It's very easy. And what I see is like, it's just a virtuous circle. I have a friend of mine who just helped me, just an example, who helped me doing my video for my crowdfunding. We had some shootings from last year. We did a bit of things here in Ubud, where the empty markets. And in 1 week we got the video, and so and he just came to, hey, how can I help? I mean, I think I'm going to do a fundraiser. I can't sit here and do nothing. I mean, my product has a huge benefit. And then he said, I think I still have some footage from last year, and he's just doing coaching on environmental stuff, and he gives 30% back to causes like mine or others. So he has 7 or 8 on his website. And then when COVID started, he started to do webinars, and then he made a video for me. Kind of for free, because he loves what I do. I mean, that video for sure brings in money, because it's a good video. You need to have good content if you want to fundraise, and there's a lot of things, there's a lot of techniques also there. And then he started to fundraise 500 euros for me, and for other causes. He's done 3-4 causes since the pandemic started, and he created a community of, let's say, like-minded people, like digital conservationists, people who know about wildlife, people who know about the ocean, and create a community and then gave some webinars for $10, and then this would go to causes. So it's a fantastic model. So it's all these virtuous things, because people, the power of the social media and how you can, if you use it in a good way, can support causes like mine, others, also a lot of wildlife causes he's supporting here in Indonesia, and also animals and things. So that's great. But it's just a system that he created, and you needed to change, the model and basically shift. And he did it in a very, very smart way. And so it supported a lot of things. And he's called Manuel, and he's check it out. It's coaching for cause, like a cause. And he's doing fantastic content and really trying to get these people together. And like the other day was an oil spill in Mauritius. I wouldn't have heard about it if he hadn't brought attention to it as a terrible thing. And he was working together with the main conservation restoration association there to try to fundraise for this horrible oil spill in the Indian Ocean. So there's a lot of things that he can, when he brings attention to it, and supporting it for the good of the planet. So that's the power of like social media, and it's about inspiring the people, and then getting a tribe, and then with that tribe you have a stronger voice, and then you have also better ideas, and then you do some brainstorming and you bring good stuff. So there's a lot to do, and also in terms of monetizing it. I mean, I'm sure there's ways to create a model, and he's just, for instance, he created after a while a subscription model, and that's it. And then he has a few people who subscribe to his monthly webinars, and also panel discussions. So there's a lot of value and a lot of content. There's a lot of work, but it's great. I mean, it's helping the people to get some more awareness about the situation of the planet. And it's not about being an activist or whatever. It's just about making the right choices, and about trying to get you with your own skills in help and have an impact, because we have much more than we think. People should basically. Unfortunately, there's always a little voice in your head there. I can't do this, can't do that. No. Have confidence in yourself, and things will happen. It's very important. I also had to do that. I mean, even if I had experience and stuff, it's different to change your life totally and get a paycheck for 20 years and say, oh, that's not anymore. How do I do now? I need to make my own money and my own living. But for sure, and it takes a bit of time, adaptation, and then you find your ways. But it's just about doing it and not be scared. And I always say, what's the worst case scenario? You just look at it. Okay, maybe I have to change or do something different, but it's not the end of the world. So just by looking at what would be the worst, you can see actually it's not that bad. Actually, I mean, I can only win from it and do good things. So yeah, that's how that's my biggest dream. I mean, I think a lot of people see that now, and I really hope that this let's say what's happening today in the world will push the people to do more and to do better and have their own willpower of changing things.
Yeah,
we have to. We can't accept, like unfortunately there are things which will drive, like for traveling will be the numbers, will be the countries open, not open. You can't really push that. I mean, that's unfortunate. You depend on this, but all the rest you can push to change it. And if things you don't agree with, you just voice it.
That's it. And I think, there is this collective change that I speak of, and that is my mission, and that is the mission of this podcast. And I think there is an evolution happening. People are waking up, and the change is happening. And I am so glad to have had the opportunity to catch up with you today. And I can't wait to see, the growth in your product through other countries. And thank you so much for being a part of the Ethical Evolution.
Thank you so much, Bendy. It's been a pleasure. And yes, let's keep in touch. And thanks for the opportunity. And what you do also is very important to give us voice and to have these fantastic people on the podcast. I listen to a couple, and it's really very inspiring.
Thanks for listening to the Ethical Evolution podcast. If you're an ethical business owner, change maker, or holistic healer who's determined to make a change in the world and you need support to spread your message, visit ethicalchangeagency.com to collaborate.
If you're a working professional wondering what's next for your career, you've come to the right place. Whether you're looking for a promotion, growth, or a potential career transition, look no further. With over 30 years working in a variety of industries, I share my insider knowledge with those ready to get ahead on Career Advancement with Craig Ansell. Tune in to get your strategies for success.
Miles, are you ready to record our promo for Season 2 of the Wanna Bet podcast?
David, have you ever seen a grown man naked?
Miles, we're not here to quote lines from Airplane. We're here to tell people that Season 2 starts August 18th.
But I like Airplane.
I know you do, but Wanna Bet is a sports betting podcast. Each week we bet $1,000 on the NFL teams and games that we love.
Well, that sounds like fun.
It is fun. And last year you picked over 60% of your games correctly.
How'd you do?
We're not talking about that. We are telling people that they can find us every Friday. So no more movie quotes.
Roger.
Electricast.